Alright, so we're going to experiment with some wood gas burners. They burn the wood on the bottom as well as the exhaust given off by the wood. With the reintroduction of fresh air on the upper portion, the smoke will reignite. You get more BTUs out of your wood source. So this is a repro of Zelf stove, and I kind of took out the extra hardware. I used some ballpoint pen springs to form the hinges on here. Also bent the prongs on the hardware cloth to form the locking mechanism and the support for the base here. You can see these are bent. Just snip one of the ends and make some prongs out of it, and appears to work quite well. Two more down here. Pretty sturdy. I mean, doesn't come apart at all. So we'll be working with that one and a solo version of it that I made, triangular version. Same thing, ballpoint pen springs, and just bending the hardware cloth to form these prongs here to put it together. Takes a second to set them up, and then you've got your unlimited fuel source in the woods once again, and they don't come apart. So we'll try out the solo version, well, the smaller solo version, and kind of a version for 1 to maybe 2 people. 10 cubes by 7. We're going to put a Peak 700 on that one, and we're going to put an REI, I think that's a 750 or an 800 on the larger one. See how long it takes to get some water, 2 cups of water boiled. And instead of doing it like a Swedish torch and burning from the top down, I think I'd prefer to see it the other way. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, granted, if you're in the field, you're not going to have perfect pieces of wood. So this is a pretty realistic demonstration. This isn't, 2x4s that are, this is the way you'd be doing it if you were out there. There we go. And I'm not really a hobbyist, I'm more of an outdoorsman, so this is something I would really want to use. So you're going to want to consider that before you make it your primary stove. And if you want to cook quickly, don't count on it. It's going to take a little preparation, preparing the wood, making sure they're to size. Probably a good idea to have a windscreen on these. We're at 710, and we're going to boil on the larger stove. So, and it goes without saying, it was equal amount of water in this pot, narrow pot, and we do not have a boil. We're working on one. Alright, so in closing, if you don't mind the sooty pot, of course, with cooking with wood, this size here is certainly going to boil water quicker and more efficiently, especially with the wide bottom pot. The smaller kind of solo version of it, as you can see, you certainly, if you had a windscreen on it and you'd be directing the flame directly up against the pot, it'd probably be more comparable. So I'm not so certain that the weight savings on this size is worth it. Alright, we're going to start this second experiment on this stove. What we're going to do is a bottom light, see if that works out. And we're going to simulate a windscreen by having it in a more protected area. We've got them on experiment number 2, doing it in a sheltered area to simulate having the windscreen around it. Probably a kite windscreen would work very well with these, and you could have that made out of aluminum or Tyvek or whatever. And we'll come back and see how this does. Burning much better in a sheltered area. Flame is more localized on the pot. Be interested to see what we get for times. Rolling boil, 6 minutes 10 seconds. So enough said with that one. As long as you've got it out of the wind. All right, you're not going to get a rolling boil out of the stove. You'd probably have to, you know, top feed it a little. But you've got bubbles breaking, but it's not a rolling boil. And the amount of fuel is just not enough to get it to a rolling boil. It just doesn't hold enough. That is for 2 cups of water. Certainly 1 cup of water at a time is definitely going to go. 2 cups is just under. So if you're going to boil 1 cup of water, you can go with this size, this design, 1 cup at a time, maybe a cup and a half. 2 to 3 cups, no problem for this size here. So, and you're not gonna, I tried lighting it from the bottom and it's not gonna happen. So a center load, tinder in the center seemed to work best for me. That way the flames are hitting some fuel on top instead of just top loading it and top lighting it. This is the way to go.